Lion by William Pene Dubois. Long, long ago, high up in the sky, way above the clouds, there was a white and silver palace. It was called the Animal Factory. It had 3 rooms. There was a white fur room for cold days, and a white feather room for hot days. It had a roof made of silver fish scales. High up, just under the roof, there was a bright, light room made of crystal glass and diamond rocks. It was called the drawing room. In that room, 104 artists sat on silver stools behind 104 white wooden tables. They sat in rows and drew pictures of animals. They worked with sheets of pure white paper, ermine brushes dipped in gold paint, and 8-sided boxes of wax crayons. They made up new names of animals, which they wrote down in gold letters. They made up new animals, which they drew in clear colors. It was in this way that animals were first invented, before they were made, before they were flown to the planets of the universe. There was one artist who was boss. His name was Foreman. When he was quite young, artist Foreman won a medal for the first animal he made up. It was called Worm. Later, he grew up and became boss and stopped drawing. But one day, he thought of a new word, and the new word was lion. "I have made up a wonderful name for an animal," he shouted. "I am going to draw an animal and call it lion. It will be beautiful." The other artists were too busy working to hear him. The other artists made lots of noise while they worked because they made sounds to go with the animals they drew. The drawing room was filled with moos, meows, hoots, bow wows, tweets, and whistles. Artist Foreman went to his closet. He took his drawing table and carried it out into the drawing room. He put it near the crystal windows. He reached for his silver stool. He took a sheet of pure white paper, a new ermine brush, his own gold paint, and sharp wax crayons. He sat down, took his brush, dipped it deep in his own gold paint, and wrote lion. He wrote it in big letters. He didn't leave much room for his drawing. "And now I'll make up a lion," he shouted. He looked at his sheet of paper. He scratched his head. He looked some more. He blinked his eyes. After a long time of looking, artist Foreman said to himself, "It's a funny thing, but I do not quite remember how to make up animals. It's been forever since I made one up. I think I'll look at what the other artists are drawing." He took a walk through the rows of tables. In the first row, he saw a drawing of a terrible animal named alligator. In the second row, he saw a big, furry animal, which looked nicer, named Bear. The artist drawing Bear was softly growling. In the third row, there was a fat animal with feathers named Chicken. He walked on, looking left and right, until he came to a striped animal named Zebra, which was in the last row. "It's beginning to come back to me now," said Artist Foreman. He quickly drew a small, fat animal. He used every one of his colors. "The lion is good looking," said Artist Foreman to himself. He looked at it some more. He scratched his head and thought, "That is lion, and it will say, peep, peep." He looked at it some more. It's been a long time since I've made up an animal. Maybe the lion isn't quite right, though I'm quite sure that it is. He looked at it some more. Lion is such a lovely word that maybe I should ask just one other artist for just one word about lion. Then I'll know that lion is just right. He took his drawing to an artist in the fourth row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked at the small, fat, bright animal. He giggled softly. He looked up and said, "Size." Artist Foreman was happy to hear this. "Lion is beautiful," he thought to himself. "Lion is so beautiful that it should be much bigger." He took another sheet of pure white paper. He wrote lion in smaller gold letters. He drew lion much bigger. He said, "Beep, beep," as he drew lion. "Now it is just right," said Artist Foreman. He looked at it some more. I wonder why that artist giggled. He looked at it some more. Maybe lion still isn't just right, thought Artist Foreman. I must ask another. He took his drawing to an artist in the fifth row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked at the big, fat, bright animal. He giggled softly. He looked up and said, "Feathers." Artist Foreman turned red and flew back to his drawing table. Oh, no wonder the artists were giggling. Artist Foreman had made a terrible mistake. He had put feathers and fur on the same animal. He had given lion a crown of feathers around his head and neck. He looked at it some more. Artist Foreman turned red again. Lion had a tail like a fish. Feathers, fur, and fish scales. He quickly took his thumb and pushed it down hard on the drawing of a lion. He rubbed all the bright-colored feathers together until they became a yellow-brown color. He took a dark brown crayon and covered the head and tail with dark brown fur. "Beep, beep," he shouted. "Now it is right." He looked at it some more. Lion is such a lovely name, he thought. I must ask another artist about lion. He took his drawing to an artist in the sixth row. "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked at the big, fat, bright, all-fur animal and said, "Color." Artist Foreman was rather happy to hear this. It was right for a tiny animal to be all in bright colors, but wrong for a bigger animal. He took his thumb and pushed it down hard on the drawing of lion. He rubbed it until the body and legs were all yellow-brown. "Peep, peep!" he shouted. He looked at it some more. "The next artist will surely tell me that lion is right," he said to himself. He took the drawing to an artist in the 7th row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked quickly at the big, fat, yellow-brown, all-fur animal and said, "Legs." This made Artist Foreman angry. "I have given lion 4 legs," he thought. "That's usually right for furry animals." He looked at it some more. Well, maybe the legs are a little thin for such a fine, fat animal. He made them stronger. "There now, peep, peep," he said. "I'll ask one more artist, though this time lion is right." He took the drawing to an artist in the 8th row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist whose turn it was looked at the big, fat, yellow-brown, all-fur, strong-legged animal and said, "Haircut." Artist Foreman didn't like this at all. He took the drawing back to his table. He was now very angry. "Peep, peep!" he shouted. He looked at it some more. Well, maybe the fur is too shaggy for such a great animal. He took an eraser and rubbed some of it away. He rubbed it off around the body. He rubbed it off around the legs. He rubbed fur off part of the tail. He didn't dare touch the head or the tip of the tail because he was afraid the feathers and the fishtail might show through. "Lion is now beautiful," he sighed. "Beautiful!" he shouted. "I'm sure lion is right." He looked at it some more. "I know lion is right. Peep, peep!" He ran with his drawing to an artist in the 9th row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked at the big, thin, well-trimmed, yellow-brown, all-fur, strong-legged animal with the bushy mane and the tasseled tail. He looked at it closely and from far away. He looked at it upside down. He looked at it sideways. He looked at it through little holes he made with his fists. He finally looked up at Artist Foreman, smiled, and said, "Nothing." "Aha!" shouted Artist Foreman. "I knew it!" He tried another artist. "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." "Nothing." He tried another artist. "Nothing." Jumping for joy and laughing and shouting, Artist Foreman hurried off with his drawing to see his boss, who was the chief designer. He flew through the great windows. "Yes, Foreman?" "Oh, sir," said Artist Foreman, please, tell me in one word, excuse me, I've made up an animal. Its name is Lion. I bring it to you." "Lion is a nice name," said the chief designer. "Let us look at Lion. Lion is handsome. Lion is well drawn. I will make 2 lions, Foreman, and send them at once to planet Earth. I wouldn't be surprised if Lion were welcomed there as the king of beasts. Oh, what sort of noise does Lion make? Does Lion roar like thunder?" "Lion goes peep, peep," said Artist Foreman. No, you're right. Lion roars like thunder. Thank you, sir. You are too kind, too kind." "Good day, Foreman." artist Foreman bowed his head, turned quickly, and flew back to the drawing room. He sat down on his silver stool behind his white wooden table. He looked at the heavenly view through the crystal windows. He was feeling very, very happy. He smiled, leaned back, and roared like a lion. The end.